Good afternoon, Giants fans. How are we doing? Welcome to your post-stroke pre-game show from last night's game and going into tomorrow's game with the Surrey Scorchers on Sky Sports. If you're on YouTube, you've probably seen our special guest already, but for all the listeners, we do have a special guest with us. He is an out-and-out, fantastic basketball player in general, played at a very high level in National League, and he also won the tip against our guest a few games ago. It's Jordan Frost. Introduce yourself, mate.
Thank you, sir. I wonder where he was going with that then. Jordan Paplin. Oh, good boys. Good to be here again. Good to be here. Positive. So, yeah.
And for our listeners...
I literally had no idea he's doing that, by the way, Pilko. No idea, honestly.
And for our listeners, as you probably gathered, that was a little preempted story we had ready. It's ex-Giants player, Mr. Daniel Pilkington. How are we doing, pal?
Good, mate, as always.
Good. Sorry about the introduction, mate. I had to get it in there. Jordan was telling me about it all.
It's all based on a lie, so...
It's absolutely not. I have several people who are willing to testify that I won the tip against you in a charity game. Yes, it happened.
I've probably annoyed them somewhere along the line.
So as you know, on these shows, we go into what we like, what we don't like, our criticism, and obviously our positive output on everything that's happened and that is to come. So I'm going to fire over to you first, Dan, on this. Obviously, with you being and playing at the Giants at a BBL level, what was your intake of last night's game against Worcester, mate?
I think first and foremost, like as fans now, we've got to take the positives that it isn't the same as like last year or the year before. So last night's game, I was watching it thinking like there's flashes of it being really good. The way they were shooting the ball, the way they was like passing the ball and all that kind of thing. But then you've got to think about how many points they conceded over the last couple of games. I mean, to have to score 103 points in 2 games in 2 weeks to win the game, I think it's just nuts to think about that.
Yeah, I think there's a stat line I read. Before this 5-game losing streak, we've gone from the second best defense to the worst in the league over the course of 5 games.
That's absolutely mental.
I mean, I know we love stats and hate stats, and they don't really represent a lot of things sometimes. But to hear that stat line, it's a bit of a shock. It's a bit of a shocking thing to read, Jordan, what about you, pal?
I mean, definitely echoing Dan's points. I mean, we scored 96 points in a game. We scored, over 100 against Leicester. You don't expect to score 96 points in a game and get beat. Period. You don't. And it is I mean, I know Brady, obviously, he's got and he definitely worked for him. He was quite strong when they was backing down on him, but he wasn't really contesting the shot, which I think was vital because he's tall enough anyway. The guy's 6'9". Just put your hands up and you're near the rim anyway. I just think others defensively around him let him down a little bit. I was positive. I mean, offensively, I don't really see an issue. I don't. And, we're going to go into it, in a bit, whether, we're bringing guys in. But I don't think offense is an issue. I just think just sort this, the defense out, I mean, I was quite critical of Hexham defensively. I don't think he used his size to his advantage on defense. He obviously definitely did on offense, but on defense, he definitely didn't. But I just think because we've lost that crucial part of our starting 5, I think it's just affected everybody in a way. Like I said, DJ's played out of position. By the way, massive shout out to DJ. He had a really good game last night, and I spoke to him and I said, you and Whelan predominantly put the team in your back, again last night. But DJ's been playing out of position. I think last night was the first time he's actually sort of ventured more into the 3 spot. So he didn't really get into fouls, and the fouls he did commit were good ones. So yeah, there's not really much more I can say, just other than we just really need to, and I know they will be doing. It's easier said than done, but we just need to practice that defense. Yeah,
I think obviously we saw a bit of a step up from DJ in the past 3 games. He's had 10, 12 plus points in a row. He's playing well defensively. I think another positive from this game is that we didn't have a foul out again. For 2 games straight now, we've not had anyone fouled out, which obviously has been one of our weaknesses with Brady and DJ. And even Hudson has been, been in foul trouble recently. And we've managed to drag that back down to, I think, again, like you said, in the first and second quarter, where we've got, where we've been struggling with giving fouls away with our big guys. We are, like you said, we're contesting the shot, but we're not playing hard defense. But then when we came out into the second half, and Brady's got 2, DJ's got 1 or 2. It was all guns blazing. They were contesting everything, which is a good and bad thing. It's hard to recognise whether you want us to play hard D in the first and try and get luck with the fouls, or you play like we did last night and see what happens. And we go on to Brady. It was hyped up. He was going to be going against, his ex-nemesis and the bit of beef he had with Parks Jr. And we didn't really see much of it. There wasn't much of a matchup.
I mean, he didn't look even like Parks just didn't look. It's like, I wouldn't say he didn't look interested, but I mean, Brady, he got blocked. I'm not sure, was it Parks who blocked him?
Yeah.
But I mean, they were pretty weak back downs what he was doing. I think he's worried about the whole foul trouble thing, but I don't think it was really. I think John Williams and Brady was the real matchup there, and it was a really good battle.
Yeah, Williams has always been trouble in the past couple of seasons for him. He's their main outlet down low, and I'm going to give him a quick mention now because I don't really want to talk about him that much. But Martin Boutneck is played out of his skin again for the Wolves. He's trouble from downtown, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to talk about Worcester too much. But it was it was a tough game to watch from a 3-point sense. They had 16 to our 9, I think it was. From 3-point, and I think 5 of theirs came in the fourth quarter. As a big man yourself, Dan, we know that you've got a 3-point shot on you. Is that something that?
Look at him! Yeah, I have. Yeah. I've actually witnessed this, and this is one thing I will say. Right after I won the tip, he immediately went down. And there was only like 12-minute halves, weren't they, in that tournament we played in?
Yeah.
And he hit a 3 straight away, and I thought this is going to be a long day.
I pulled up because I knew. I'll admit it now, right? You did win that tip.
No, he's giving you praise.
No, give you praise.
But I thought, right, I'm not having that. I can't get to basket because my ankle's knackered, so I'll just pull up.
Literally, honestly, and luckily, I think you scored 6 on me, and then I only marked you for the first half. So I was just like,
bottled it.
This is going to be a long day. This.
So. As a big man who can shoot threes and pull up like that, where do you see the Giants team currently? We've got 3-point threats from Cassell, from Whelan, from DJ, from Awande. If you had to pick a starting 5 based on the game last night, who would it be and why?
Based on the game last night,
but based on Worcester as a team, what would your tactics been if you were the coach?
Well, I'd have started Cassell, I'll be honest, last night.
Agreed.
Who do I take out? I don't really know because I was watching Donovan last night and I was blown away by him, to be honest. His size, his strength, his ability. Like, you look at him and you think he's a free, and then when the camera goes closer to him, he's huge.
Yeah.
You just think, well, you could mix it in that 4th position as well.
Yeah.
But I watched it last night, and I think Jordan, if I'm not wrong, was he 0 for 3 on his first three-point attempts?
Yeah,
in the first quarter.
We as a team was about 0 for 5, I think. I think Whelan took 3 of them.
I think he shot 6 all game, so he made 2 of his next 3 that he took. I think he'd have took more than that if he did not took a couple down early on.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you look at them, they're not bad percentages. What did we shoot? 37%. But yeah, based on the 3 points, I think the starting 5's all right. But I would just chuck Cassell in. I'm good mates with Jack, so I can't take Jack out and have that argument. Who am I putting in? Because if I was starting my own team tomorrow, Jack and David be 2 of the first people I'd ring up, regardless of league. So
I think me, Jordan, and yourself got chatting when obviously the news of Hexon came that he was leaving, and I think it was quite coincidental, or whether it was planned or not. I think you put a picture up of yourself, Jack, and Ulf with about 2.5 minutes after that post, and we were like, "Is Pilko getting signed tomorrow?"
No. When that message came through, when you said, "I see what you're doing here," I had no idea what you was on about, and then I'm scrolling through Instagram. And I seen all the injury news, and I was like, "Oh, I see." I think I'm coming back.
It's like,
Daddy, I'm free.
Just sending the little eyes emoji into
it.
Yeah. Sorry.
When you talk about Jack, sorry, mate. When you talk about Jack, I mean, don't get me wrong, great point guard, and we see how well him and Ulf link up. Really good point guard, and he's still, as a young lad, he's still developing into the BBL and stuff like that. And for me, he couldn't be at a better place, with the Americans and stuff we've got. He's really good. I just think he had a bit of one of his quieter games last night, I think it was one of them. I've said it before, like his rabbit in the headlight kind of games. I just don't know whether it was one of them or not. I do agree with you. We should have probably started Sam, but we've started him and Sam at the same time, and it's worked. So I really don't know. It really is a bit of a sort of a brain teaser for the coach.
The thing is with Jack is that Jack, without doubt, no matter what level I played at, Jack's the best passer I've played with. He'll find you no matter where you are, and it's ridiculous how good he is. But I think that has to develop over time. Like I played with Jack at Mersey, and then I did 3 seasons with him at Liverpool as well. Yeah. So me getting all those passes off Jack came as a gradual thing in practice. So him and Ulf connecting like they do. Yeah, it's all down to the amount of time that they played together, and that's what it'll take for Jack. I think Jack does this season. Next season, he'll be breaking out into one of the better point guards.
Because obviously, we saw him come in at the middle of last season. At the start of last season with obviously the breakdown with coronavirus and they're only playing 14 games or something. But he came in. It was like, all right. This is the starting block of our new point guard. We spoke about in the past, as amazing as Sam Cassell is, for me personally, he's a shooting guard, and I think he's been kind of taught in practice on how to use that pass first, whereas Jack is a pass first point guard. You don't see many points from him, but he will give you the ball. Whereas Sam is obviously more of a scoring threat, but also controls the game very well.
That being said, though, you look at a game the other week where Jack had 8 or 9 assists. I guarantee the next time that team plays Jack will be in double figure scoring. That's how Jack operates.
Yeah,
Jack will switch up his game the way he does. I've seen him have games where he's had like 10 and 10 in assists and points.
Yeah,
and then the next game I've seen him have 22 and 6 against the same team. So that's how he adapts his game. Once they start bringing that extra help on the kicks and stuff like that, he's just going to go straight to basket and
Because I suppose what did help as well, he sat for so long. He got taken off, and then he just sat for so long. And especially the way the game was going, it was so intense, And to come back, he came back into it in the third quarter, I think. He came back into it in the third. He sat the whole second, as far as I remember. He came back into it in the third, and it's the way the game went. Especially the end of the second quarter where Cassell hit the 3, and it was such an intense game to come into. It must be tough to really sort of grow into the game after sitting down for so long.
Yeah, well, I think it was the beginning of the fourth, wasn't it? When I think it was 78-70. They hit a 3 early on in the fourth straight away, and then Jack got an and one, and I think Zach got an and one as well.
Yeah,
the next player down to reduce it closer.
I thought he was going to catch the body then, Zach.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. That's what teams are going to be scared of now as well. But that kind of impact, that instant impact, is what's going to has to be there all the time for me with it. But Jack was still a sparking part of that.
Yeah.
And we talk about that connection between Jack and Ulf. Now, we don't want to comment on this too much, but we do want to bring it up. We saw. I think what I watched the highlights. Well, I watched the game back this morning, flicking through. We got a technical warning after DJ got an and one in the first or second. he caught the ball after it went through the net, put the ball on the ground, and then
Second
ran
it was,
back
I
on.
think.
Was it second? He ran back
Yeah,
on
I
D,
think it
put the ball on
was.
the ground, and the ref signalled for a T warning for holding the ball. And was like, okay. Shortly after that, we saw Sam Cassell get a T for conversating with the ref. And then very shortly after that, we saw Ulf running back on D with his hands up and get calls for a technical there and get subbed out. Now, we don't know what's been said. We don't know what's happened on the bench. But I think me and Jordan were talking, and it was a conversation of Ulf's had his towel over his head or has been sat for the entire game after he's had that technical. Yeah. And you know, as we spoke about, he has a massive impact on the game. And hindsight's a beautiful thing, where it's like, well, we got killed on the offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. Is that because Ulf wasn't on the court? Is it because he was sat? You know, but yeah, I just wanted to bring it up and get it in there because obviously we don't know what to say. It gets said behind closed doors.
Yeah, we can't. Like I said, if anything, it's an open invite for anyone to come on if you know what was said. Correct us if we're wrong. I personally don't think unless obviously because I know Danny was going at him and whatever was said. If Ulf told him to do one, then you can't do that to the coach.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of we can't comment because we don't know what happened. But for me, if he didn't say anything, and also if Sam didn't say anything from his technical, I don't think they should have sat for as long as they did.
But I think with Ulf, it's a little bit out of character with Ulf because if you look just before he tries to get that offensive rebound off the free throw, him and Jack are talking to the ref in a polite manner.
Yeah,
like in a way that's like, just keep your eye on this. So that's probably what sparked Ulf's frustration in the first place to get the technical. But in terms of what,
I saw him doing it. I saw him dragging his arm. I saw it.
Yeah, well,
it was clear.
It happened in the first half. I noticed it in the first half,
Yeah.
and I thought it should have been asked for then. But I think with Danny, I've been on the receiving end of one of Danny's moments as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's been said, whether Ulf's gone back at him and said boo on or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny can do that. But I think it's a good thing. Danny's showing his passion, and he's probably frustrated at the minute because he's gone 5 straight losses, hasn't he? So as much as the players are frustrated, Danny is as well.
I think that's the annoying thing when you see a player like Ulf get a tee, because every game, I think you just brought it up then, Dan. Every game I see him, he has a quiet word with the ref, and if he just gives him a little tap on the back and goes, "All right, no worries." And you see his mannerisms with the ref. You see his mannerisms with if he hits someone hard, blocking someone, he won't necessarily pick him up, but he will just give him a little polite tap on the back and be like, making sure they're all right. Like you say, it's not in his nature to be that hothead. So, credit to him. He's a lovely guy.
I don't know if you guys noticed it as well, but as Brady had gone for a water drink, as Ulf was sat down, I clocked Brady putting his thumb up to Dave to make sure he was all good.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah,
that was a nice touch from him looking out for his big man. Like,
yeah, I mean, we'll touch on Brady after, but back onto the sort of the technical side of it. I think don't get me wrong. I do believe if Ulf said something to the refs, whatever it was, should be technical. Understand that. If Sam Cassell says something to the refs, technical. The rules are there for a reason. Understand that. But I think we are on the receiving end of a lot of technicals where other teams are let go. Like for me personally, how Newby, their coach, didn't get a technical in that game is beyond me. Is beyond me. He was up and down the line as coaches do. Don't get me wrong. But DJ he placed himself in that wing, and you could see he was shouting stuff to him. And every time the refs didn't give something towards him, I don't know him as a character, but every time he was at them all the time, and I just thought there's not even been a warning thrown here. But whereas I don't know whether Ulf got one or Sam got one, but it seems to be for us at the moment. It's just boom, technical. See you later kind of thing, and
Ulf was probably drawn on from Sam getting his and thought, right, you're carrying on now. You're carrying on asking for stuff in the way that you're asking for stuff. So it's probably a cause of that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's said with it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, obviously, if anyone from the team or anyone wants to speak about it or whatever, so be it. But one thing I will say, a massive positive from last night, apart from DJ Brady, I think had a great game. I think his attitude was really good, like really good. I think it was leaps and bounds. And I actually spoke to DJ, and I said to him last night, I says, "Listen, mate, stay positive. It's coming." I says, "You was hot." I said, don't hesitate on that 3-pointer because we love it when you shoot it. It's such a fluent 3-point shot. And I said, "I'm noticing you've got Brady, under your sort of, tutelage at the moment." And he said, it was something really nice, actually. He said, "I had to sort my own game out, my own confidence out, and then I wanted to help Breon." And I thought, that's bang on.
Yeah.
That's absolutely bang on, So, and you can definitely see it. You can definitely see it.
Because, like, as we talked before, DJ has had that 3 or 4 years away from home where he's played overseas and he's played in leagues for 3 or 4 years at a time. Where I think this is Brady's first season away from home, isn't it? So obviously that plays a massive part.
He played Macedonia, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
A season in Macedonia, I think.
But
I think Pilko touched on it, like regarding DJ before, in saying he's going to be a mismatch for a lot of people. Like, especially when he's playing 3, he's such a big guy. Because I think we clarified what was he 6'5", 6'6", something like that.
Yeah,
I think he said 6'6", didn't he? Yeah, and that's big. It's a big player, and he's strong. He gets through, and he can jump. So he's finally sort of realizing that he's getting his head around the refs and stuff. And he drew a lot of good fouls yesterday. He put them in the bonus. I looked. He put them in the bonus in the 3rd and the 4th.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he's going to be a huge player for us, and hopefully, if we get someone else in, it'll just boost them forward.
Well, that's the thing, Hexham has left a bit of a gap offensively. I say a bit. He was leading minutes, leading points. It's a bit of a hard gap to fill, and hopefully we have got something coming to sort that out. But I digress. Moving on to the game against Surrey. It's the Big Sky game. Me and Jordan have got something planned. We're going to get big wings in. Going to be having a few beers and maybe a little live halftime show over Zoom or something. So hopefully we're going to sort that out. Depends how many beers we've had and what the score is. But in the last game, we beat them 80-66. It was a bit of a tough game. It was a very hard-fought game. Where isn't this the game where Jack got ruled out for concussion when he got the elbow to the head?
Yeah.
So we know it's going to be a dogfight. But the numbers across the board, obviously taking out Hexham, we had Cassell, DJ, Brady, and Awandi all in double figures that game. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think this is the game to turn it round for us. This is the game to put us back on track and go, you know what, here's our dub. Let's move on to the rest of the team and show the team what we can do. I really hope it's a blowout because I think they'll kind of come out fighting again.
Yeah.
But let's talk matchups. Pilko, what do you think? Surrey against us, matchup wise, how are you feeling?
I think I'm going to bring up one name now. But Cammy Hildreth's a problem,
Yeah.
And I listened to another podcast the other day, and they said he'd never been in the BBL if Wake Forest was thinking. You think Wake Forest, Chris Paul went there, and he's a player, him, man.
I mean, Cammy Hildreth is a problem.
He's a player.
And I say that because he's a problem.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
He's still 18?
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's ridiculous for his age. He played last season with Worthing Thunder a couple of times. And he was 17 or 16, 17 at the time, and he's averaging 23 points a game in D1. Do you know what it's just ridiculous. He's got Isaiah Taylor on his team, and
I remember him. Taylor.
Alex, whatever his name is, but he's got these big players around him, and he's averaging 23 a game at 17-year-old. That's a worry for me for this game.
I think that was the position for me where they really struggled with. Obviously, It was the American they let go.
Lavelle Cook, was it?
Yeah, that's it, Lavelle Cook. Yeah, they needed to address a position. I don't know what he's like defensively, but I think Surrey as a team defensively aren't good.
Yeah.
They're not good. I think that's why. I mean, you look at the guys who scored the points in the last game: Awande, 3-point shooter; Whelan, 3-point shooter; DJ, 16 points, 3-point shooter. Do you know what I mean? Sam Cassell, double figures, 3-point shooter. So I think there's going to be gaps there, and there's going to be places, and I think Brady and Ulf have had the better of Richards, Big Richards. So I think it's going to be interesting.
Ryan's going to wake up though soon. Ryan's playing a lot of defensive time, but he's going to wake up soon, and he's going to start knocking down them post moves that he's making. Because I know he's missing a couple.
Yeah,
he'll wake up soon, and he'll be. I just hope it's not tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say just hopefully still asleep. I mean, the other thing is, you've got to take into account is the atmospherics. It's a long coach journey up to us. I mean, yeah, it's an 8:00 game. They've got a while to go there, but it's a long coach journey. It's a long time to be sat on a coach. It's at our, home court. And I listened to Brady's interview last night when they was talking about, his, he's like, what's your thoughts on the Surrey game? And he said, we've got to protect our own court. We can't be getting beaten our own court. That's the court we practice on. There's no excuse for it, and he's absolutely bang on. And if there's any game sent by God to come and give us a W, it's against Surrey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really is, a real, because they've got a good team, and they're very beatable. And if we need a confidence booster, it's against them. So,
yeah. Well, they've just put, obviously, we saw that they've released a few players. They've obviously picked up Cam Hildreth, picked up that dude, Lacey James, the other day as well. And it's also the return of the loudest Giants player or ex-Giants player I've ever heard off the bench is the big Dino.
Dino,
yeah. I think it'll be a nice matchup wise with everyone. They are a strong team. Richards, as we spoke about in the past, is just an absolute animal, and let's just hope he is still, pardon the pun, a sleeping giant still. Just thought I'd get that one in. There you go. I didn't even prepare that. It came in my head then.
It was as smooth as Teflon,
that. It's a Sky game. We're on our home court. We're against a team that we know we can beat.
Yeah. Without
the additions of the new players, but like I said, we've I think everyone else is talking about him. We've got to talk about him. It's Cam Hildreth. It's the guy who is going to be their main threat and main scorer.
Let me tell you, first thing, I think two players who could do a job on Cam Hildreth personally. If his defense is up to what it's been quite a lot of the season, Jack Hudson.
Yeah.
I think Jack Hudson could have a really good game against him, and Zach Powell again. I think personally, Zach Powell should have been put on Boutnet last night for the fourth quarter. I think he should have just in his face, because he was. I mean, apart from a few of the odd ones, Boutnet was in one of them things where he could have chucked it off the ref's ass and it'd have gone in last night. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just one of them games, and I personally think maybe Zach to come in there, but I think Jack could really do a good job on Cam Hildreth. And again, what a game to do it on. Announce yourself against a guy that's going to a D1 school. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
The thing is with Cam Hildreth, right, is when you watch his highlights, I never purposely watched a full game of his, to be honest, apart from last season. Yeah. But you look at his highlights and you get a defender, you get your quickest defender like Zach, for example, wearing his shirt with him, right, that tight.
Yeah.
And he goes by you because you're giving him no room to shoot. So then you ease off a little bit, and then he'll dribble and pull up, like the quickest pull up you can imagine.
Yeah.
So then you think, do you know what? I'll give him an arm's length, and he'll just shoot.
Yeah.
And he's got so many tools, Cam Hildreth, that I think he's the biggest problem. But I mean, Jack will have him in his pocket tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have a game. They've got to have a game plan for him. They've got to, and I'm sure it's something coach had been looking at for weeks now, since he probably heard who was playing him and he was playing for them. It's like Dan said. What do you do against a guy that can pretty much do everything? If he's doing that now, I think what he's going to be like when he leaves Wake Forest.
It's going to be ridiculous. He's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I heard I heard Masters of 161 say, was it him who said he's as close to a person to get to the NBA from Britain as we're going to have in a long time.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's scary, but like I said, because the good thing we've got here now is that we're not sort of limited. I know we've got one player down, but we have got a bit of a deeper bench, so Zach can give a few fouls away, Jack can give a few fouls away, so you never know. Maybe we've just given Dan's big game plan away, one of them marking him.
Yeah, I think Ulf should guard Camille.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say I think worked well against Surrey last time was a zone.
Yep.
I think a 3-2 zone worked really well against them. We dropped into, I think, third. But
yeah, you look at the last game that they went out. Dino shot 3 threes off the bench, missed all 3. Macklemore, he shot 3 threes, missed them all.
Yeah.
So they were 34% all in all, 10 from 29 from 3.
Yeah.
So that's a strategy to go for as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep them out there, let them shoot.
Yeah.
Cammy Hildreth missed 4 as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're not scared of shooting, and some of the shots. Because I remember when their coach tore into him on that game, on the post-game show, and he was saying we was chucking up all sorts, and they do. I remember when they played at our place, and they was literally throwing absolute ridiculous shots up, and you just think, I mean, last night, don't get me wrong, one thing I will say is that the defense was pretty good on 3-point shots. There was one where DJ couldn't have got any. He was literally like Dan said, wearing his shirt, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But you've got 100% more chance of the 3-pointer missing if you just get someone up in the face, kind of thing. And I think that's what the 3-2 zone will bring.
Yeah. Plus, obviously, we've got that speed, and we've got a quick. Even if Cam or anyone, Teo has got that quick first step to come inside, you've got the help from your big guys. You've got the speed, or you've got the strength of Cassell defending you, or DJ coming off the wing and helping out.
Yeah.
So, I as we said, I think zone is the way to go for him.
Yeah.
I know we're going to come out man to man. We're going to gauge our senses. We're going to gauge how they're playing, and then we'll go from there. But I do the way they shoot, the way they play. I think it'll be a good 3-point hike up for him next game.
Yeah. I think ultimately regarding that one, it's winning your individual battles. I think is going to win the game. Win your individual battle, and like you always say, just play defense. Just play defense. If you can't do anything on offense, just play defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and people write off Surrey. The bottom of the table, the 2 and 7. But looking at us, we're 5 and 7 now, and for a long time we've been in third, fourth, or switching up between third and fourth place. Obviously, with that losing streak, we've dropped down to 6th.
They're rebuilding though, aren't they? Mid-season.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They're tackling the stigma of being bottom of the table. They're tackling it now by making changes, getting rid of one of the more well-known players and bringing in this 18-year-old that's going to change things, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to know, because obviously they were still playing, weren't they, Worthing? Because obviously the D1, so they were still playing. So I'd love to know how the conversation went. I think it's a good move for him. Just a bit of BBL experience, a bit of pro experience before you go there.
He probably cared about him saying, right, we're having Cammy. And they're like, right, okay, no worries.
yeah, fair one.
Well, I think looking at Twitter this morning, Lavelle Cook put a story up that looked like Worthing Thunder's training ground. So it might actually be an unconfirmed trade. Not an unconfirmed, but it might be he's going there to fill their gap kind of thing. But yeah, it's going to be. I mean, don't forget about Tony Hicks and what's he called? Macklemore. Tony Hicks and Macklemore are big dudes. They're going to get up. And when we spoke to Whelan on his interview, he was like, his matchup, obviously before he went down with the ankle injury, his matchup was Tony Hicks, and that was it. So we actually get to see the game plan that we missed against Surrey last time when we had all the players go out with injury.
Yeah, I think you've just hit the nail there as well, because Whelan didn't play. He only played a minute 36 something. And I think, like I said, if they're still susceptible on defense, Whelan can go off. He really can. You know,
he's averaging 23 through the last 3 games, isn't he? It's ridiculous. It comes off injury and averages 23 a game.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, you say, well, they've brought in Cam Hildreth since we last played him. We've brought in Whelan since we last played him.
Yeah.
You know, it's a guy with a lot of experience. You know, I mean, I know Breon said, you know, hopefully we've got that, you know, the 4th American in by Friday. It's probably not going to happen now. We'd have heard about it by now. But, you know, hopefully, you know, there's something in the pipeline, you know. I think that kind of brings me on to, you know, I might as well say what, you know, Coach mentioned, because he mentions it obviously in the thingy. You know, obviously I just spoke to Coach. There wasn't, you know, an awful lot said. Obviously, I totally understand, you know, it was a tough loss last night, you know, but it basically just said, you just want to say, hopefully we can replace Hexham to address the balance in the team. And we're disappointed in last night's loss, and hopefully we can put it right tomorrow evening. So there's definitely, you know, something there in the pipeline. Someone coming in. Yeah. You know, we just like I said, it's just to ease that burden on the rebounds. You know, it's just to ease that burden and the scoring. You know, we're losing 20 points a game. You know, every game now. You know, for as long as Hexham's not there or replaced. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, you've got. Hexham was another 3-point shooter and a guy who can go to his patented move, go baseline and come up on you. So you're missing that 6'9" proven scorer that can shoot from deep, can go inside and get up with the big guys. So it is a big gap to fill, and obviously we will see if anything does come of it. But like I said, I don't think it's looking like tomorrow's game. But if something happens tonight or tomorrow or something with the isolate, if we do sign someone, we're going to have to isolate and they'll be ready for the next game. So fingers crossed.
Mate, if I had the opportunity to play live on Sky, I'd be flying myself over there.
I'd be swimming over.
Yeah, I'll pay for that.
So just going to have a little questions and answers from you, Dan. Obviously, you spoke about playing at Mersey with the two members of the Kennel Club, as they like to call themselves over there.
Don't ask me. Don't ask.
That's because they're dogs. I know who the dog is, but
we'll leave it at that.
Obviously, now. I can't remember what year you came in, Pilko. Can you explain to everyone how you got talking and to get into the team? Did you go through a trial, or were you kind of like, did someone pick up the phone and go trying to come and play for the Giants? You know, what was your little story about it?
So I played when I finished with Mersey that summer. The year I played for Mersey with Jack and Dave was. The year after that year, Giants had come back, and that was their first season back. So the year after, I'd played for Jeff Jones before, and in the summer I was like texting him and like, "Yo, can I come down and practice and that?" Yeah. So like that summer I was down practicing. I wasn't quite ready for it. So the year after I went back, I wasn't quite ready for it because he was playing with some big players: Mike Bernard, Jorrick Williams, Tintin. You know, the list goes on and that. Ben Eves was like I was matching up against Ben Eves in practice, and that was really fun. Like, so like I played one pre-season game against Leeds, and I think that was 2014.
God, I forgot Leeds.
Went back to Liverpool.
Leeds Force,
yeah. So we played a pre-season game then, and I was speaking to Jeff. Jeff was like, "Yeah, come down, spend the season with us." And for some reason, I just wasn't ready for it, and I couldn't afford to anyway. I needed to work. So then went back to Liverpool, and then when the Giants started a second team where Danny was coaching, I joined that, and we won everything that year. Me and Danny and the rest of the guys. We had a great team. We had an unreal team.
Yeah, you played at Oldham, didn't you? I went watching you against when Danny Yates was playing for Kingston, and like you had Sam Lane, didn't you? You had. Josh Orton played for you. Yeah, Josh Orton played for you. You know, he was
we had a ridiculous team that season.
D3. I think just in that game alone. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kingston were a good team, you know, but in that game alone there was like 6 dunks, you know, like, and you're just tearing apart this pretty decent team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a good team. The thing was with that, like, Danny just sort of let us play. Like, he just trusted our abilities. And it was a bit of a joke that season that between ourselves that Danny didn't need to do much apart from just bring a sub on. But he did. The way he run his practices and stuff like that got us ready for the weekend and stuff. Didn't do much film back then, but anyway, I digress. So that's basically how it came about. I'd played for Danny before, and a couple of seasons I'd trained with him, like mid-season with the Giants team. And then that summer decided that it was happening. Let's do it, and it didn't last long.
So, obviously, out of the three of us, you're the only one that's had BBL experience. Obviously, who was the worst player to match up against in a game? Whether it's a toughest
from the recent time, or like through the movie as well.
The recent time.
Well, the recent time, it was probably my favourite game as well. Played Leicester.
I knew he was going to say that. I
matched Andy Thompson minute for minute. If you look at the box score, if you watch the box score, I was 15 minutes 40 seconds. He was 15 minutes 46 seconds or something. So Danny had a game plan that I would guide him, and it was just a good test because obviously I grew up at Magic watching him.
Yeah,
and he's a big 6'11" dude, can shoot, he can go inside. And I've got a great photograph of me defending him down low as well. So it's probably the best experience that I've had and the worst at the same time because I've got a load of different things to think about how to defend him.
Yeah.
But I thrive on that. I enjoy stuff like that. I enjoy that challenge.
Yeah. And who was the best teammate? Now, this is a bit of an open question, you might be thinking. From the day you started to your Sunday leagues and everything, all the way up to your most recent competitive game, who's the best player you played with?
The best player
that
I've played with? Oh, wow. That's a tough one, that. I don't know if it's controversial or whether it's not going to be agreeing with, but I think one of the better players who didn't get a chance at the Giants was Delvin Dickerson. I just loved the way he played. Like, what a lot of people don't know is he was playing through injury. Like, his hand was in bits. I remember he blocked a shot, probably my shot actually, in practice against the backboard, and he just went like this, and that was it. Then that was probably the second practice we had together. Yeah. And since then, his hand wasn't right. But I think I wouldn't say he's the best, but he had a great attitude. He wouldn't sit out. He wouldn't cry, mourn, or anything like that while we were there. Just cracked on with it, and he was good as well with me coming back into this level of talking me through stuff and just saying, like, you don't need to score, you just need to do this, do that. And then he would praise as well for when we did do that. So I think in terms of teammates with the Giants and thing, he was great for that. But you can't go away from Callum Jones or James Jones either.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, like, he burdened the fact that several Americans let us down that season. You know, we had a huge player in Teal Daniels supposed to be coming in. Rightfully so, if you got a great contract in China, you know, you only live once, go and do that. You know, Jonathan Mulmore, don't know if you can shed any light on that, but he just kind of went. You know what I mean? I don't know if you was there when he played. And, you know, it was lit to just, you know, Delvo. And when American comes over, it's like, oh, he's American. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he had to burden that whole American thing. And he did have some good games.
Yeah,
you know,
he did.
One of the best dunks I've ever seen, you know.
Oh, mate, I was on the bench for that. It was so good. It was ridiculous. And you was behind me as well, I think.
I was.
You was behind me. Because I turned around and I was like, what? In terms of Mulmore, like, I don't obviously know what happened when he sort of disappeared. I left the week before I think he left. Which was coincidentally when my two teammates joined the team as well, which would have been But no, when Mulmore was there, I had one or two disagreements with him as well. But he was good because he was such a good player, like an incredibly good player. I just don't think his head was in the Giants. Like, it was sort of basketball for him. It wasn't like. Like with me, I was passionate about the Giants because I'd watched them in the 90s, and I was like, I was a local lad. When I was talking to fans after the game, it was all about the accent and all that kind of thing. So it was important to me, that bit.
Yeah.
But I think to Mulmore, it was more about I'm here to play basketball, nothing else, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that came across when I was watching
he
him play.
played. I mean, the amount of times I saw him like dribble up and just shoot a three, and you could see Danny going like that, like, "What are you doing? You just designed to play. You're not doing it.
What does Danny do in that situation? This was my argument when I was talking. Like me and my dad talk about it all the time about basketball and stuff. So we was talking about it. What does Danny do in that situation?
Exactly.
He's one of your better players. He's the point guard that can handle the ball, can beat everybody to basket.
Yeah.
But he's making decisions like that. Does Danny punish him and we lose by 50, 60?
Yeah.
Or does he keep him on and we reduce the deficit a little bit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the bonus as well to know how far we've come since last season is that we've had obviously Hexham leave and American leave, but we're instantly wanting to replace him. Do you know what I mean? We're instantly wanting, and that's the huge one. Last season, we got Ulf and Hudson in. They was, last minute, we've done fantastic. It's the best we could get at that time. But this season, it's like Hexham's left a huge gap. A guy's played in the NBA Summer League. Well, let's try and get another good American in. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the Jack and the Dave was a great move from the Giants.
Yeah, agreed.
I also think it was a little bit of like seeing the future as well. We're going to
totally
need a young
agree,
core.
Yeah,
we're going to need a core group of British players because our core group of British players at the minute is old. If I'd have still been there, I'm 30 this year, so I'm in that older bracket. Whereas Dave and Jack are a little bit younger than I am, and Jordan is as well. That is a great core of players. Whereas James and Callum are a little bit older, so I think that there was a great move from the Giants was to bring them in and have that core of the British lads first.
I also, I think they definitely agree with that point because these are guys, I said it on one of the previous podcasts, these are guys who's going to stay. The Americans, unfortunately, but it's been a thing for years now, use the British League as a stepping stone, a lot of them, into Europe. It's the first, because Europe's a tough nut to crack, you know what I mean? And they do use it as that. But the league's getting better, so take nothing away from the league. But we need that core of English players, and that's what they bring. And again, I was listening to Adam Masters on the other one. Again, brought a really good point up about when we let James and Callum Jones. Now, I'm not going to say whatever happened with that because I don't know what happened. I don't know anything. You hear all sorts of rumours. I'm not judging anything. I just think to keep at least one of them or an old English head like that might have been a good idea because the Americans seem like, they can take over sometimes. You know what I mean? I think it would have been a good thing to keep on. But again, you've got Whelan who's, I can see him clearly not scared to say something to people. I saw him, what game was it, where he absolutely bollocked Brady. Like, I bollocked him. He was wide open on the three and Brady's just black holed it in the post.
But why not?
So, yeah, exactly. And that's what I think, that's why it's such a good point that we definitely need. I mean, I do think we should probably get, hint, Dan Pilkington, in like another good bench rotation player. So I do think with the three kids on the bench, I do believe, if he's not going to kind of play, great experience, totally get it, but if we could do with maybe like, obviously, we don't know what's going on with Ali Fuller and everything, but that one other English guy, a biggish player,
The thing that's important to me for the Giants is, and I know you agree with this, with that core of British players, right? It's not so much about British; it's about the local thing.
Yeah,
and
agreed,
it was a nice little story. The Liverpool lads coming over and switching alliances to Manchester and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're still local Northern lads.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I took away from the fans when I was at the Giants, was how important my accent was. Me being broad as anything, like I work on a farm, is what the fans liked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important for the Giants, and they've got three of the best that they could have.
I totally agree.
I wouldn't like to replace any of those three with any other Northern lads at the minute. That I know of, and that's no disrespect to any of the other Northern players because we've got some ballers up here. But them three are the perfect three for Manchester Giants, the perfect poster boys for it as well.
Yeah, and you look at our team currently. Over half the team is British. One is he Croatia? I can't remember where he's from. Rwanda. One European player. But we've got a full starting five. and a bench player of English players. You know, I'm not saying they're going to start, but you know what I mean. That was massive, and I think Danny's addressed that really well because he's got, you know, Charlie Britton. You know, we know I know what he can do. I've seen him before. You know, play. Yeah. You know, we saw Ty when he came on against. He had a shaky start against Plymouth, but after about 5 minutes, he looked like he fit in. Do you know what I mean? And Joe Hayes coming out of Myerscough, you know, you don't get a scholarship there for nothing. Do you know what I mean? So he's definitely the right thing to do. That I just thought maybe one other, you know, English lad just to like. I mean, for me personally, Ali Fuller was perfect for that position. You know what I mean? Coming on, taking the bird. You know, even if he just grabs 4 rebounds. You know what I mean? I just think one other bench player we can rely on rather than just having, you know, 8 players, you know, rotating all the time.
I think it comes back to a point we've said before, where it's, and you know, we've got the immediate future of Ulf, Hudson, and Whelan, but we've got the potential further future with Ty, Joe, Charlie, and Zach there as well. I think personally, again we've touched on it in this and in previous shows where we do want, or me and Jordan certainly think that we do need that kind of older, more experienced, played in the BBL, played at that level before, English lad that can just come in and, exactly like you said, run on, grab 4 boards, play some hard D on a big guy, give everyone else a break, and that is perfect. That is what we need. We also need someone.
Mike Bernard, someone like that. You know, someone with absolutely tons of experience. I'm not trying to drag Mike out of retirement here, but you know, like, but
Mike's
Mike,
just spatting brew everywhere. Mike's just spatting brew all over.
I know, yeah. I must admit, actually, he had that season, didn't he, for us, where he lost loads of weight and he was and I thought, well, he's going to go for another 3 years. This guy, you know what I mean? But I think injuries.
He was grim to play against as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. He's ruined many. When the Americans used to come to the Sports Dome and when it was at Right Robbie and all that lot, and like they used to come over and he'd just be dunking on people and they're just like, oh, this league isn't as easy as I thought it was. You know, like it was. But yeah, just someone like that. You know, a seasoned professional, just someone who can grab 4 boards and 4 points a game. You know what I mean? I think
can you get our hint here, Pilko? You know what I mean? Get your shoes on, get your shorts on, mate.
To be honest, I don't fit into that team as it is. I mean, in the rotation that you're suggesting, yeah, probably, but I don't get minutes in that team. If you look at the players that you've got there, like I'm not taking minutes off Ulf. I've got the stats up. That's why I'm looking down, but I'm not taking minutes off Donovan. Definitely not going to the 3 and taking minutes off Jordan or the 2. So to me, I wouldn't fit in that team if I was ever brought in. So your hints can stop because it's I'm dying to play, to be honest.
But do you think you look really nice in that kit? The kit's shout out to the kit this year. It was really, really fucking nice.
The new kit.
Yeah.
I suppose I was.
You can see it. Like, oh god, that black and white would look good on me.
No, I love black kits. I do love black kits. But
I used to have one years and years ago that I wore. Yes, I was one of those kids that used to go to the Amici summer camp, and it was a reversible kick-ass Pirates jersey, and it was like red on one side, black on the other, and it was amazing. It was just that it was black on black. It looked sick, and just a shout out to myself. I won a shooting contest with 0.3 seconds to go from the halfway line, and the entire place erupted. It was great,
mate. Firstly, do not diss them Amici summer camps. That's what.
Oh no, they were great. Oh yeah.
Place. Like literally, I went there on a whim. You know, Jeff Curtis just sent me there. Like, you know, in the middle of summer, got there, ended up playing a season for Magic. So I'm not gonna diss them. And everyone's got their number 1,274 t-shirt somewhere.
Oh no, they were great. They were absolutely great. I'm not dissing them, by the way. That they were genuinely fun. It was good memories there. Good memories. But I think we'll round it off there, mate. Is there anything else you want to add, guys?
No, I'm good.
Oh, good. Are you happy with everything?
Well, I have actually. My daughter picked 4 numbers for me this morning, which is going to be my
game predictions.
My prediction.
Oh,
Jake,
okay.
no pat on the back for Jake today. You've missed the game predictions.
Fuck that off,
Let's go. I love game predictions.
Let me get my pen out. Pilko, go on, mate.
So my daughter's picked 4 numbers, which is going to reflect the game result tomorrow.
This is going to be fun.
This is going to be hilarious, man.
So she picked 7 and 6.
Okay.
So 76.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 and 4. So 24.
Oh, it was such a good start then. I thought if this comes in, man, you're putting like the Euro Millions on. What's your numbers, love? Say it again.
Yeah. So she's picked 7, 6, 2, 4.
Well, I say have your daughters and have yours and see who comes closest. If she comes close, I mean, we're talking about sorting defense out. We're gonna have to bring the fucking Eastern All Stars to come and do that, like a 24-point game. Yeah, man. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't get called up for any more games, mate, the way you enunciated them numbers, you've got a bingo hall job in you somewhere, mate. That was beautiful. Have you got any additions on individual predictions, individual players?
Who's gonna go?
Whelan 30.
Whelan
Brady
30.
double.
Okay.
Jack Hudson 8 assists.
Hudson 8 assists.
Ulf double-digit rebounds.
Okay.
I like this. I like that a lot. That's good. That.
Okay.
Try to think where I'd go.
Jordan.
I'm gonna go 86. 80.
Oh.
Yeah.
A bit of a difference.
Yeah. and I'm gonna go 86, 80, and I'm gonna go Hildreth.
Oh, here he is.
I think I'd say it's a given to get over 15, but you just don't know. I'd say Hildreth over 20 points.
20 plus, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ulf double. I reckon, because he got a load of putbacks against them last time, so I reckon it just could be that again. Brady standard double.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do DJ plus 15.
Oh, okay. Good shout.
Yeah.
I was a bit wrong on the low-scoring game on Worcester's game. I think I went 72, 76 or something. So, in homage to Pilko's daughter's pick, I'm going to think it's a high-scoring game here. We're going to blow them out by 50. I'm going to go 96 Giants. I think we're going to start hitting threes. I think Awande, I've said it many times. He started getting hot in the last game.
Stop saying it because it's not working, all right?
All right. I won't say it then.
Yeah.
I reckon the entire team is going to hit a lot of threes in this game.
Yeah. Good man.
Giants 96, Scorchers. I'm genuinely thinking we're going to blow them a bit. So 76 Scorchers.
Ooh. Like that.
Mm.
You know what we should start doing on this, by the way, because we have different guests. We should start, if anyone actually wins it, the other 2 people have to buy the other guy wings.
It's a great shout.
I like that.
That is a great shout.
Well,
okay.
Well, cheers to my daughter.
Oh, imagine if it comes in.
I don't know. I got 1 point away the other week. Like, literally, I thought because they was chasing. It was against Surrey, wasn't it? You remember, Jake? It was against Surrey, and they was chasing the game, and I thought he's going to pull up for free here, 100%, and he just went for a layup. And I just thought, what are you doing? But he got a 3 and he got that extra point. I'm like, no way.
I think it was the only time Jordan ever cheered for us to foul someone to get to the free throw.
I know. Fouling, Brady.
There's the score predictions. Let us know what you think. We're going to pop them on all social medias. Thank you so much, Pilko, for coming on, taking time out your day for us. It's been amazing, man. Thank you.
Anytime, pal.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
He'll definitely be on a few more, mate. I'm telling you that now.
If we've got any Americans or Australians listening, we will put subtitles in on YouTube for Mr. Pilko, just so you do understand what he's saying.
Hello.
I'm not from Yorkshire.
You work at a farm, mate. You might as well be.
Well, I sound like it, don't I?
But that'll wrap us up for the post pre-game show. Make sure you go and check out the boys over on social media. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Well, all the links will be down below. Any likes, shares, comments is really appreciated, guys. And yeah, get behind the boys. It's Friday. It's Sky Sports. If you haven't got Sky Sports, do what I'm doing. Jump on Jordan's Now TV. Enjoy the game.